Hey everyone, my name is Anastasia and I'm back again with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys about the culture shocks that I've experienced as a black girl, as an African girl, or as a Zambian girl living in South Korea. So tune in as you listen to the culture shocks that I've experienced. They might be different from yours or they might be similar to yours. So let's get into it. So my first culture shock is the technological transportation system in Korea. Like how you don't have to pay with cash. All you need is a T-Money card that you can recharge from any convenience store. There are no though people called in my country we have people that we call conductors or call boys that collect transportation money in public transportation system are like buses. So when I first came to Korea, that was very shocking. Like I was expecting someone to walk to me and say, "Oh, where's the money?" And they like, and how quiet the buses and subways are supposed to be. People expected to be quiet in order not to inconvenience others. But in my country, it's very different. Public transport systems are very noisy. Like if you're in a bus, everyone's telling stories. People will talk about politics, things that are happening in the country, and etc. etc. Like that was one of my culture shocks, including how the bus itself, like everyone is very quiet. There's no one announcing the next bus stops. But in my country, the cowboys are the ones that have to announce the next bus stops. Yeah, so that was one of the culture shocks. Like you guys can tell the difference, right? Here it's more of technology. In my country, it's more of human resources. Another culture shock that I experienced as a black girl living here is how you have to sort out the trash. Like you always have to sort out general waste alone, recyclable alone, food waste alone. But in my country, we throw everything together. Like you don't have to separate all this alone. Everything is just thrown together, and then the waste company have days that they pass through each and every street in order to collect that trash. So even for plastics, we don't have specific plastics to pack, but we were all required to maybe pack in black plastics. Yeah, those black plain big plastics. So that was one of the culture shocks that I experienced here because I got used to just throwing everything in one place. Another culture shock that I experienced here is the amount of security, like how there are cameras everywhere, like CCTV cameras everywhere in Korea. Like you feel safe, you would move around at midnight, especially for night owls like me. We are very safe to even move at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. You can walk into any convenience store. Like there are most convenience stores are open 24/7, and how you can leave your belongings anywhere without anyone tampering with them. Like that was my first or second culture shock when I just first came to Korea, because the first time I came here, I left my purse that had money that I was going to change at the bus stop, and I was so scared. I didn't know what I was going to do if I found that money lost, where I was going to start from, or how I was going to tell my parents about it. But when I went back to the spot where I left my purse, I found it not tempered. I found it the very same way that I left it, and I was shocked. Yeah. So another culture shock that I experienced as a black girl living in Korea is how expensive salons for us, especially Africans or black people with the type of hair that we have, are. In my country, the same amount that I would pay in Korea for one hairstyle, I would pay in my country for maybe 6 to 8 hairstyles, which was very funny and very shocking. Like, wow. So for my braids in Korea, I have to maybe raise about 200,000 won, but that 200,000 won would pay for 6 hairstyles in my country. So another culture shock that I experienced as a black girl living in Korea was the first time I attended a Korean wedding. Korean weddings are very simple. Like you don't have to do too much. All you have to do for gifts, you'd only give complimentary money as a gift, and you'd get a food coupon after that. And the weddings only last for an hour. In my country, a wedding is like the whole weekend. And for the white wedding, it would start at 9 a.m. maybe, or 10 as a church ceremony. Then afterwards, the reception where people go and dance, eat together, and yeah, it would take till maybe even 12 midnight. Yeah, so that was another culture shock that I experienced. I was expecting to be there like the Korean wedding maybe for over 5 hours, but I was only there for an hour, which was very shocking. Like, wow. Another culture shock that I experienced was how they respect their lunch breaks in Korea. Like in my country, if you're hungry, you're hungry. Maybe you would eat while working, but not necessarily it's considered as bad etiquette, right? But like, yeah, it's not mandatory. Like when it's 1 p.m., when it's lunchtime, you all have to leave, stop working, and go and have lunch. People would have lunch, yes, but others would continue working, like depending on the occupation that you have. But in Korea, immediately it's 12 p.m. everyone's out there in restaurants are so full, no one's working, you can't go walking into anyone's office, including classes. There are no classes during this period, which was so funny. Like, lunch break is well respected here. Yeah. Another culture shock that I have fully adapted to is the consumption of coffee. So Korea has coffee shops everywhere. Like, you can't walk past a place and not see a coffee shop anywhere. And how they consume too much coffee. When I first came here, I was so shocked. Like, everyone was taking, and I first came here during winter, so I was shocked how everyone was taking iced coffee, iced Americano, which is almost everyone's favorite. Everyone takes sweet iced Americano. Like, yeah, so like that was so shocking. Like, why is someone taking iced coffee when it's freezing cold with some snowdrops there? Yeah, but now it's something that I've also adapted to. I take about 3 to 4 cups of coffee in a day, especially if schools are open, and maybe 1 to 2 cups if I'm not really busy. So like that was one of the culture shocks that I experienced. And now I can't even take hot coffee. I only take iced coffee too. Like, the train got to me too. Another culture shock that I experienced was a pedestrian crossing. In my country, the light can be green, and if there's no car coming, you can just cross. Or, you know how in Korea, one thing that shocked me was there's no pedestrian about to cross, but immediately it's red, the cars stop. Whether there's no one crossing, there's someone crossing, the cars will stop. Or if it's green, no pedestrian will be crossing, no person will be crossing, even if there are no cars. That was a very huge culture shock for me, because in my country we just cross anyhow. You see the car is very far, you can cross and just pass by, and like, that was very shocking. I feel like the very first time I came here, I was about to do the same. Like, I was about to cross, and like everyone was just looking at me, and I realized, so here there's some rules that you have to follow. Another culture shock is how people can smoke here. People can smoke in Korea. Like, that was so shocking for me. Like, how there are smoke areas around and people are just there. Like, especially during lunch breaks, you'd find bosses with their, professors there. And it was very shocking for me, because in my country, smoking isn't very high. Like, people actually hide when smoking. Like, it's something that you shouldn't feel cool about. But it was very shocking when I came here. Everyone's just so free with how they smoke, including women. In my country, women is sort of like we have that judgment. People will judge women that smoke, and because of their high consumption of smoking, they spit a lot. That was very, until date, it still moves me. Like, when I see someone spitting next to me, like, someone will just spit. They don't care whether there are people walking or anything. They'll just spit saliva, and that was very shocking to me. Like, till date, like, it's not something that I'm used to. I still get that ick in me, Yeah. Another culture shock that I experienced here is the weather, the extreme weathers in Korea. Like, when Korea is hot, it's too hot. When it's cold, it's too cold. So most people, especially during summer, be like, but you come from Africa. Africa is hot. Trust me, a 40 degrees in Africa doesn't feel like a 30 degrees in South Korea. Like, South Korea is very hot and humid. And even though summer is my favorite, yeah. And then winter. The first time I came to Korea, I came during winter. So I still had that thing in me. Like, I wasn't used to such type of cold, seeing snow. I didn't know it was this cold. And the extreme weather still get to me. Like, you'd never get used to it. Like, when it's summer, you'll be like, oh, I'm ready for summer, just wearing, skimpy clothes and the like. But it's still gonna shock you. Like, the hotness is going to shock you, the coldness will shock you. The extreme weathers in Korea are just wild. A few culture shocks that I'll mention is how everyone wears black here. Like, if you wear colored clothes, everyone will be like, sort of like looking at you. The second one would be going inside the house with shoes. In my country, we are used walking with shoes in the house and they like, but in Korea, you always have to remove your shoes by the doorstep. There's always a cabinet for putting your shoes. Another one would be maybe no public trash cans. Like, you can move around in Korea, around the whole city, and maybe you only find one public trash can. That one is still a shock to me. Like, it still frustrates me till now. And the last one, maybe for now, is how you say thank you and someone says nay. Like, why are you saying yes when I say thank you? That one still shocks me till date. Like, why are we saying yes? But like, yeah, so these are the few culture shocks I've experienced.